morning, Sophie.
Good morning, Dad.
So, what are we comparing today?
Today we're comparing the Wizard of Oz versus the WIZ.
Right, very good. So, first of all, let's go through what's similar about the films. I mean, they are the WIZ is based on the Wizard of Oz, is it not?
It is. Those two have Dorothy in it. And they both met their companions.
Okay. Apart from that, though, there are many differences, are there not?
They are. In the Wizard of Oz, it was set in Kansas.
Yes, on the Great Prairies.
But in the WIZ, it's set in New York.
Ah, of course, yes. The big city, so there's going to be a difference. The two main... Well, who is the main protagonist?
The main protagonist, Dorothy. In the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy is a teenager. But in the WIZ, Dorothy is a young lady.
That's right, and she already has a job, doesn't she?
Yes, just a job as a teacher.
So, you said Dorothy has companions. Do her companions have the same names in the two stories?
They do.
Right, but what about the differences between them?
In the Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow has lots of ideas, even though he kept saying he doesn't know anything.
Yes.
And also, she's the best friend of Dorothy, and that's why she'll miss him most of all. But in the WIZ, the Scarecrow has papers inside his tummy.
Oh, see, yes, he does, doesn't he?
He takes them out and reads them.
Almost like he's been stuffed with fancy old books, isn't it?
It is.
So let's move on. Who to?
Next is the Tin Man.
Oh yes, the Tin Man. What are the differences in the two Tin Men?
In the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man is a wood chopper. But in the WIZ, he's a tap dancer.
Oh right. So he's become a musician when he moves to New York, I see.
Yes.
And who are we moving on to now? Last but definitely not least of the companions.
The Lion.
The Lion, okay.
In the Wizard of Oz, the Lion is a coward. He keeps running away from danger.
He stays scared throughout the whole story, doesn't he?
He does.
But what about in the WIZ?
In the WIZ, he rescues his friends from danger.
Yes, several times. But what are as a clear example?
For example, there was in the subway scene where he rescues the Scarecrow from the bins.
Oh yes.
And then he rescues the Tin Man from the electric thing. And then he rescues Dorothy from those big ball thingies.
That's right. So he's rescuing them all, isn't he? Each time he's running around.
He does.
Well, that's the main people who go with Dorothy on her journey. What about the villains in the two stories?
The two villains. In the Wizard of Oz, the Witch of the West is the main villain in the Wizard of Oz.
But what about in the Wiz? Isn't she still a villain?
She is a villain, but she only appears in the sweatshop in the Wiz.
Right, yeah, she's not a presence, is she, throughout the whole story?
No, she only wakes up in the afternoon.
Yes, that's right. And what about the rest of the other witches? Obviously, I think people will remember that in the Wizard of Oz there is the Good Witch of the North.
Glinda in the Wizard of Oz is the only one good witch in the film.
Yes.
But in the Wiz, there's 2 good witches.
Yeah. That's right. It's one at the beginning of the story and one at the end?
Yes.
So, what about the...
Now, let's talk about the wizard.
The one who gives his name to both the films, I suppose. The Wizard of Oz and the Wiz are people in the story, aren't they? So, what about the Wizard of Oz first?
In the Wiz...
Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz, the wizard's like a proud and arrogant man.
Yes. Still very full of himself. Even when he's found out, he says he's a good man, doesn't he?
Yes. He's not a bad man, but a bad wizard.
Yes, that's a strange thing to say, isn't it?
It is strange.
And how about Richard Pryor in who plays the
Wiz?
The Wiz.
In the Wiz it's like sad and depressed character. Feels trapped.
Yes.
And all alone.
That's right. And he struggles with things, doesn't he? Very much. Okay. Alright, now we've done the characters that we want to talk about. What would you say about well, they're both musicals, I suppose.
They're both musicals.
But you've got a feeling about the Wizard of Oz. There's a bit of a problem with its musical aspect, isn't there?
Yes. In the Wizard of Oz, it is a musical, doesn't musical numbers, but after the Key Before song, when they're going to meet the wizard, they sort of drop the musical all the way part of the story.
Yes, and it's notable that when, I know we're talking about the film, but in the musical of the Wizard of Oz, they always put in extra songs, don't they? To make it more interesting. Do they need to do that for the Wiz?
In the Wiz, they have more songs in it.
Right. All the way through as well.
Yes.
And is the music a bit different as well?
Yes. In the Wizard of Oz, it's sort of more classic music.
Yes.
But in the Wiz, it's more of a funky
music. Okay. So now we're coming to the end of our comparison. Which is yours the best? Which do you prefer?
I think the Wiz is better than the Wizard of Oz.
And why would you say that?
Because in the Wiz, Dorothy has her relationship with her companions.
Yes.
And also, she helps them by believing themselves.
Yes, that is very true. Believe in yourself. Yes, yeah.
Yes. Because I think she helps more than the other one does.
And do you think that Dorothy has changed more by going to Oz in the second one, in the Wiz?
Yes.
Okay, so Are these still widely available? I think people know that the Wizard of Oz is on television a lot, isn't it? At Christmas and so on and
Yes.
so forth. So can you still get the WIZ?
I think so. We can still get the WIZ from online or go to HMV.
Yes. Excellent. So we'll put a link to where you can get that from after the show, after the video's finished. What about our next one? What are we going to do next?
Next, I'm going to review The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The BBC miniseries versus the 2005 Disney film.
Okay, we'll have a good look at those. Well, thanks for that today, Sophie, and I look forward to hearing from you again.